Okay, everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a great week. We're gonna blast through this in record time, about 7-8 minutes. So, do you reckon we can do it? I think we can. Let's see how we get on. All right. So, first things first, we're gonna have a higher time frame analysis. First, we'll shout out to everyone who's joined the family. Big up, big up, big up. Don't forget to hit me up on YouTube. I did put out a video on YouTube. I didn't put it on TradingView, so check that out. For those of you wondering, I haven't posted in a while. I didn't post on TradingView, but it was on YouTube. Anyways, let's get going. So on a monthly, what's going on in Bitcoin? Bitcoin has obviously broke this key structure, but look how aggressive that break was. That was a very juicy bar. Not only was that a very juicy bar, that was a $29,000 move. That is monumental. That's crazy. All right. So Bitcoin has just given us a nice break. Obviously, on a monthly, this is not necessarily a high low. So this is not necessarily a structure point. On the monthly, the structure more or less looks like this. High, 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 low, all the way up, which means on a monthly we can get a retracement all the way back down here to about your $26,000-$30,000 before we carry on, and the monthly structure will still be intact. But I'm sure none of you want to hear that, especially the bulls. For those of you who are loading up on the altcoins, I'm sure that's not what you want to hear right now. All right, but that's what the charts are saying. But anyways, this is not a structure on the monthly, but it is a structure on the weekly, which we're going to see in a sec. But it goes without saying on the monthly, if you consider that we have broken the structure here at the mark 73,781, it's obvious that this was a very aggressive break. All right. And what do we expect as far as expectation of order flow after a break? Well, we expect a retracement. That retracement, more or less, could come all the way down here. This would be a juicy place for a trade for that continuation. All right. So that's what we expect. Of course, we could dig deeper in, get a demand zone in there, get a demand zone in there. But I would like a juicy, juicy trade from at least the top 25% of this range. All right. So on the weekly, you can see now this is a valid range. All right, so we're good to go. So that's obviously trade number one. However, if we look at the grand scheme of things as far as Bitcoin goes, I mean we've had quite massive plays. We've had this massive move up, bang, consolidation, bang. All right, is this similar to what we had last cycle where we had bang, consolidation, bang? Are we expecting maybe one more consolidation, one more impulse, so about 125K before it's the end of the bull cycle? Maybe, but nobody knows, all right? But that's kind of what we're doing here. Bitcoin has had this impulse. Only two things it could do, three things actually. It could consolidate here for a bit, it could rally down for a bit before it pokes up, or it could say, sod it, I'm going further down, all right? Of course, it could come all the way down as well. That's a possibility. But that's what we have on the weekly. All right. So what do we have on the daily? The question still beckons. How do we enter a trade based off of the current price action? How do we enter a trade based on the fact that Bitcoin has just had this massive break and I didn't catch it? All right. I thought I was going to catch it. I've been waiting for this level, but I missed it. That's okay, because if we do get this retracement, I will say this is a very good place to enter a long, especially a long that you can hold until potentially the end of the cycle. All right. Um, Now, I'm looking at this level and I am thinking if we are to get a retracement, all this liquidity over here, it's very easy to run it. All right. Look at all these buy orders, very easy to run. So if you are coming down here, just be careful. We're not going to sweep all the way to the bottom because we could sweep to the bottom here before we carry on. So just be careful about that. All right, so we think to ourselves, you know what? I'm not going to wait for that trade. That's going to take me ages. If I'm to measure out maybe when that retracement is due, that's going to take me a long time. Let's say it takes from here to about here before we get that retracement. That's another, 90 days potentially, unless we get a really massive drop down. So you're saying, all right, cool. I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to look at the maybe look at the 12 hour, and I'm going to say, okay, how can I enter a trade right now? Well, on the 12 hour, it looks like we're having this sort of, trend line developing over here. We broke it, we retraced, and then we've, rallied into another trend line. We've got this nice triangle that we can see. We've got a range high, we've got a range low, but we still have all this liquidity below us. And then we go to the 4 hour to say, all right, let's get a bit more specific. Let's get a bit more specific. And then it becomes clear. This triangle becomes clear. And then you think to yourself, how does triangle work? How does liquidity work as far as triangle goes? Well, if you break to the upside, wait for the retracement and enter along. If you break to the downside, wait for retracement, and enter the short. That's kind of how it works. That's how ranges work as well, remember? Because remember, a range is like this. It breaks up, it retraces, and it carries on back. All you have in a triangle is just a range that's tilted the other way. All right, okay, that wasn't a good example. Let's say we have this here. It is just simply a range that's been tilted the other way. When it breaks, it retraces, and off you go. So that's all it is. That's how I see it. That's how I encourage you to see it as well. So that's kind of what I'm looking for as far as that triangle goes. Obviously, we realize that we've got a few ranges going on in here. We've got our massive external range, as we can see over here. I'll pop that in red. I do have to shoot off soon because I have an online session in a minute. All right, we've got this external range here. Then we've also had this internal range. Okay, so I would say this is a weird place. This is a weird place to enter a trade. I'm kind of gonna sit on the bench. I'm gonna warm the bench for the next, at least I think next few hours, maybe a day or so, before I think we're going to get that massive move because, we're in the middle of this range. If this is the range high, this is the range low, we're in the middle. And price action is moving a bit weird because, we've had this uptrend, we've broke structure. Are we coming back just for a retracement? Yes, potentially. Yes. But we can also see it as, well, we've had our range high, we've had our range low, we've oscillated to the range low, and we're rotating back to the range high. This is the annoying thing about playing internal ranges. Why? Because internal ranges oscillate. If you have a range high and a range low, they can break structure bearishly, go bullishly, sweep the high, come back, break bearishly, break bullishly before it takes out the low. It can do what it wants, right? So you've got to be careful when you're trading ranges. So if you are a beginner and you're not too sure what you're doing, just chill. Just chill. You're gonna have easier trades. You're gonna have clear as daylight trades, and you're gonna have trades whereby you think, you know what, that was really easy. Why did I risk 1% on a trade that I wasn't very sure about instead of waiting for the juicy levels? All right. But what have I been waiting for? What have I been waiting for? If you are looking to trade this range, well, you're going to be obviously looking at the fact that we've got some supply up here. If you take a look at this, if you take a look, you'll see that that supply is on the 2 minute, very small supply, but it does work sometimes. Backtest it, it does. Got supply in 2 minutes, so we could get a reaction off of there. We've also got nice little, we've got some demand underneath this zone. All right, so we're going to watch out in the case we come back to SFP this low. Why not? And then we've also said, what is this box here? What's this box doing here? Well, this box is none other than the Fibonacci zone. It's our golden pocket zone. All right. My golden pocket, I see golden pockets differently from how most people see golden pockets. My golden pocket is from the 65% level to the 786 level. All right. So if we take a pull from this low to this high, oh, look at those colors. We can see that that is where that golden pocket is. We've already come back down for a tap and we did get a break in the structure. It's just a matter of whether we can get continuation after that break in the structure. What will continuation look like? Can I reclaim this level convincingly? Can I reclaim this level convincingly? Then we can say, okay, can we catch a demand chain all the way up to the range high? That's how I am playing these charts at the moment. And that's how I suggest you look at it as well. But this triangle is looking interesting. It's looking juicy and it's a nice one. So definitely track it. For those of you who love these triangle patterns, track it. But just remember, with triangles, you can often get fake plays. And what do I mean by that? Well, if we have a triangle whereby we have our converging price action, where price action is squeezing, it's getting to that apex, that last 25%. It breaks out. You're thinking, yep, this is it. I'm gonna pull, enter on that retracement. Guess what it does after? It goes bang. All right. So those of you who thought we're going to look to enter a nice little long over here when it retraces, you would be stopped out and you would be like, what the hell just happened? I hate trading. I'm not trading anymore. All right. So just be careful. We do get fake out plays. But one way to defeat this, which I have back tested and I've noticed over time, is if you are to get a fake out play, more often than not, that fake out play will happen at the golden pocket of your initial high. So if you were to take a fib tool from this high, to this low, usually that fake out, you're going to see that fake out happen at this level here. So this box, again, that box we're looking at, usually that's where you will get that fake out. So that's a little trick for you guys. Back test it. Let me know what the stats are saying. Hit me up on Discord and keep me posted as to how your trading are going. Don't forget, if you are making profit, if you are making good money from this channel and these videos, which I am 100% sure you are, if you know what you're doing, um, please feel free to put your profits in the profit wall on Discord. That's all I ask. And that is exactly what I think we should all be doing. The whole idea of this channel is not just to give you free signals every day, it's to create a community, create like-minded traders, create a group of people that can help each other, that can assist, share ideas, share signals, and all that good stuff. All right. So to summarize, we're looking for range high deviation, range low deviation. I'm going to be looking at this internal range deviation, as I said in the video in YouTube. So have a look. But in the case we come back down for a second tap here, I'm going to be looking for a nice SFP of this low to take that all the way up. That's what I'm looking at. I'm not going to force it with Bitcoin. Don't force it. It's a tricky area to trade right now. Wait for price to show its hands before you go. All right. Don't waste your 1% on a silly trade. Don't do that. That's not what we're here to do. All right. So let's just be patient and wait and see how we're getting on. All right. So we've got some time. We've kind of finished this video now. What I do want to show you guys is a nice. Okay, which one should I share with you? There are lots of strategies I can share with you. I was thinking about doing some analysis of altcoins. So some of you guys who are looking to get into altcoins, I was thinking of doing that. But let me just show you something really quickly. Well, what does Bitcoin tend to do at its all-time high? If you've been trading or investing in spot or just being in stocks, commodities, etc. for the last few years, you would have to have asked yourself the question, at these all-time highs, what does price action tend to do? How can we tell that we're starting to get to an all-time high? What's the tell sign? What's the signals that price action tends to do before it reverses? Well, first of all, signal number one, you lose momentum. All right. I like to call this the amplitude of breaking structure. You start to get decreasing amplitude of breaking structure. Signal number two, oh, that was a terrible tick. Signal number two, you start to actually create second entry setups. What I mean by that is as price is coming up, it makes that first high, it rallies down, confirms the range, makes that second high, taking out the first high, and then bang, off we go to the races. All right. So I'm just going to give you those two tips today, and then we're going to test that and see how that happened or how that's transpired with Bitcoin. All right. So let's see. First Bitcoin all-time high was, I think, what was it? What was it? Was it 2016? I think it was 2016. That was when Bitcoin got to about 20 grand. But anyways, let's see what's happened here. All right. So we can see here as we reach, let's say this was the all-time high of this market cycle. No, it wasn't. But what did it do? It created the first high, came back up, created a second high, off it went. All right. Let's look at the all-time high of the bull cycle that caught 99.9999999% of traders off guard. What did Bitcoin do? Well, first of all, as it rallied towards the all-time high, it created, this one was it was a bit different. Instead of creating two highs, it created three highs. All right. So 1, 2, 3, off you go, bang. All right. Or you could see this as disregard this high and say, well, this was two highs. Okay. But what's undeniable is that we can see that the amplitude of break and structure was decreasing. The first move here was about 14 grand, 16 grand. Now, the second move from this high to that high was about 3 grand. Oh my goodness. Decreasing in amplitude of breaking structure. What does that tell us? Potential reversal, potential range. All right. And next, what do we see in the last penultimate one? We see just the increase of about 3,100. And then what happened shortly after? Bang. All right. Again, if you got out there because you saw that, great. You would have saved a lot of money. You would have, been in good profits. You won't have been able to see this massive crash that we all experienced. Also, we can see that, that was a tiny bit of a pump fake for those of you who play basketball. Nice little pump fake. Price did come back up, all right, but it did the same thing. Created the first high, then created a second high, which swept the first high, and then bang. That was the real move. All right. Now let's see if it did that at the bottom. Well, if we look at this little price action here, what did it do? Well, it created a first low, came back to create the second low, and then bang, off it went. All right. It's a very, very standard thing for these markets. Similar thing happened here. So we've got the first low that we can see creates this first low. The first low comes back to sweep the second low. Bang, off it goes. All right. So not only do we see this at the market peak, we also see this at, the bottom of the pit of the market. So now, if we start to see something that looks like this, where we have created the first high and we are playing around, maybe for an extended period of time, maybe it comes over here, it comes up here towards about, January, February, and then it creates another high, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to short that, and I'm going to hold that short. All right? So just a little tip for those of you who are looking to understand the markets. Don't forget, we've got one-to-one sessions, going on every day, understanding price action. So if you do want to learn more about price action, it's not hard. Drop me a message and we can organize a call on Zoom. Otherwise, hope you have a great day, and I will see you guys tomorrow.